I've spent $13,259 on Whiteout Survival in its day 95. You might think that's crazy, but I'm trying to play as an efficient whale, so that's not even as much money as some other people spend. But today is going to be a little bit of a slow spend day, so let me explain the spending I'm doing, and I want to also talk about some game dynamics, because a bunch of people were asking me about Foundry and other events, how come I haven't posted them. I'll explain that, but let's get through some of the spending decisions first, and some of the simple gameplay things that I have going on tonight. So first things first, let's get into some of the simple spending. So if I go into the standard shop here, we've got the custom pet chest. I've only did it $5. We got the training pack, and I'll do that at the $5 just because it's an efficient VIP spend. Then we've got the craftsman pack, which I'll buy for the charm designs at $5. Again, more for VIP efficiency than anything else. And Fire Crystal, I only did $5 for the same reason. I already did that. And I'm going to do the daily deals for $5 as well. And then I'll do my weekly claims here. Take care of that and get that out of the way. All right, that's all I'm going to do for today on the standard deals. Now let's look into the deals section. We've got the honor tribute. Oh, we got this is the last day of the honor tribute, so we got a lot to open. Let's see how lucky I get. The more gold, the better. Well, I'll take the fire crystals for sure. All right. Well, as I have been doing, I'm not getting super lucky, but at least I've got a little bit of gold on each one of these so far. Oh, 2,000 gems, that's nice. Some skin tokens. Nothing. Some tokens. All right. Hey, got some gear. That's good. Oh, it's not too bad. Nothing. All right, halfway through. Okay, some more gear, yes. That was 2 gear, actually. Some more tokens, skin tokens. Hey, some more gear, that's 3 gear. All right, some more books. Some more books. Tokens and gems. Some more books, tokens. Gems and tokens. Nothing. Nothing. Some more skin tokens. Well, fire crystals and mythic shard. Take that. Hey, that's not too bad. Some gems and mythic shard. Yeah, again, nothing. And that's that. All right. Well, that was just okay. Let me clear out some of these just so I can grab my 3 for the day, and let's see. Oh, that's good. That's not great. And that's not great. All right, take it though. That's the lanterns. And then, just do my daily claim here. And Deadshot, still waiting. Wait. Yeah, still waiting to get to 5. Thought maybe that would be, nope, that's over 4. So I'll do this when I get to 5. And then I'll just clear out this deposit. Put it back in, and we're good to go there. All right, so that's the deals section. Now let's get into Kasha's Wish House, because that's about the last thing. Well, we do have the Dreamscape, but I can't play that on the iPad. It's too difficult. Let me just show the Dreamscape first. So essentially, with the Dreamscape, the game becomes about these dream bells. because if you don't have enough dream bells to keep going on and you start playing, then you're going to have to give up everything you've earned up until that point. So I can't do it on the touchpad because it's like too much of a distance to go, and they get quite aggressive. There's like a lot of items you have to do in a very short amount of time. So without the dream bells, you're not going to do it. I don't really like the way this game is set up because I had to spend all the way up to the 20 mark just to get enough bells to pass a few levels. If I keep spending and you get better at the game, you get a little faster once you know it, you can go a little farther, but like this just doesn't mean enough to me to want to spend that kind of money on it. So I'm just going to wait until the next round comes around. I'll spend 20 bucks on it again just for fun, and then I'll go from there. I'll try to do this one later today and see with the dream bells that I have if I can pass this next level, but it gets quite a bit more difficult as you go up the levels. So not going to spend any more on that right now. Again, trying to be an efficient whale, and let's talk about some of the other games in a second, but let's get through the spending first. So now let's take a look at the Dawnfest, because we've got the Chiefs of Dawn. There is one thing I'm going to do today. I am going to do some research because I'm already looking good for this. I'm not trying to necessarily win it. I just want to make sure I'm at top 25, but because of the gem spending the other day and some other things, I did rank reasonably well. So what I'm going to do is I've got the presidential buff on for research, and I've got the vice president ministry buff enabled. So I'm going to go and clear out. I started some research before that I'm now going to just clear out. And then, so I'll clear this research out, and I want to get, well, I've got all those research buffs stacked. I want to get this one started because that's quite a bit. Now, this was like, before all those research buffs, I think what it was like 60 something days. Then it came down to 57 days. Now it's at 53 days. This is a long piece of research here. So I'm going to get it started just to get it going. And then, I think probably by the next SVS prep phase, I'll be able to finish it off, or whenever I need to pull like a bunch of research speed ups or something, I'll be able to finish it off. But you think this is a good one. I do have some other things in growth that I could do, but I wanted to take maximum advantage of the buffs that are enabled right now, because the rest of them, I already have like tool enhancement maxed out. I already have the island buffs for research and all that. So the only other thing I could press is the construction speed, which I will do eventually, but I don't really need the construction speed right now. So I kind of feel like this is the right move for me given the current state of the account. It would be nice to start working on the trainer tools, as well, and some other things for growth. But I just want to make sure I get that, regimental expansion up as well, because could be the difference in a lot of battles. So that's why I'm going with that right now. So let's see, back to Dawnfest. This is what I was doing. It was the Chiefs of Dawn, just trying to get some points on the board. I'll have to do a little bit more just to clear these points for the day. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh yeah, I've got some gathering out. So the rest of this day, I think, is just going to end up being gathering and maybe a little bit of troops promotion, just enough to get the points on the board and make all these claims. That's really all my goal is right now for that. Now let's do Kasha's Wish House, because this will be a little bit more spending. And then I'll take a look at King of Icefield as well. So the thing is, let's come back here for a second. If you look at this carefully, I'm only 5 away from being at the 600. So technically speaking, I don't really need to spend anything more right now. But yeah, and actually there's an argument to be made to not spend too much right now, because I did spend up to the $50 mark every day. My plan was to spend up to $375 and be able to empty out the mithril. So at this point, actually, I think the most efficient spend-wise is to just grab the 5 for the VIP spend. I could go to 10 if I want, just for another spin, but I'm not going to be able to... Here's the thing. I'm not going to be able to complete the wheel another time, another 100 spins without spending a much more. And with what I have now, I can unlock this chest, which was my goal in the first place. And also the goal was to get 3,000, but I've already got the 3,000 and I've already bought all the mithril, as you can see down here. So, I'm ahead of the game because I got a little lucky. So I think the best move as far as efficiency goes for me right now, since I'm not planning on spending anymore and maxing this out, and since I already got all the mithril and all I want to do is get that last chest for just a little bit more mithril, think this is the right move, is I just spend that $5 and I do one more 10 spin. Where is it? Do one more 10 spin to finish this off. All right, nothing there. Now I got a guaranteed pause. Hey, and I got the 500. That is nice. So I'm like ahead of the game right now. So I'll grab this chest, and now I've got my 10. And now I'll just run the remainder. I've got all my commission, so I'll just run the remainder of these out one at a time. Well, let's see, I can do a 5 maybe. Oh, it's only 1. Okay, so I'll just do the rest of these because it is the last day. And let's see if I get lucky on any of these last ones. All right. Take the gear, yeah. Yes. All right. You know, I'm happy with that. So now we've got 17. Let me move my head here. And you can see we've got 1735 dream marks left. And that's after buying out all the mithril from the shop. So at this point here, the question becomes, what is the kind of like the best buy? And I don't know if there's a best buy, but I know that charm designs are hard to come by. I can get everything here in other ways, except for the mithril, and the charm designs are really hard to come by. So this is my instinct, is let's buy as many charm designs as I can. I think that's what I'm gonna do there. And then I'll just save the rest for next time. Well, we gotta take the bonus there. And again, even the fire crystals, I know that there's some other deals we'll be getting. So, you know, I'll grab that, the fire crystals from other shops and stuff. The thing that is hard to get or expensive to get otherwise are the charm designs in any amount of quantity. So I feel good about that move right there because that gets my charm designs in a good place. And I do have a bunch of charm guides as well. So I think that's looking good there. That's Kasha's Wish House. Then we come to the Feast Overture. Basically, I'm going to continue to try to finish this off. I'm not trying to win this. I just want to make sure I place well so I can get the free, the permanent city skin there, mainly for the stats. Not that I like that city skin all that much, but it is unique, and to be able to have it permanently is kind of fun. And so that's my goal there. I'm quite glad that our state is not running this up like crazy, because people aren't like, forcing people to spend a lot of money on this, which I've seen some other states that are like double or triple this or more, I think. Yeah, maybe not more, but I've seen at least double this, and I've heard of people having at least triple. So I'm glad that this isn't really running up. All I really care about here is making sure I get that city skin. So I'll continue to press that. And so I'll grab these. So one more thing, and so that's where we are with the Dawnfest. And let's see, no, nobody gave me my salt yet. So I'll take a look at who else I can help later on. There is one more thing I want to talk about, and that is I want to kind of thank some folks. I did this off camera. I forgot what I was doing. I didn't realize it after the reset, because the reset time with the daylight savings has me all messed up. But King of Icefield, thank you for the comment. I don't know, a couple of you, you can't just credit one person, but a couple of you reminded me like, hey, even if you're not going to press King of Icefield far, make sure you grab the medals, because at the later stages of the medals, look at this. And I didn't notice this. I didn't pick up on it right away. You get these general accessories for the island. And these are, those are expensive to buy. If you buy, like, I think 2 of them are $5 or something like that. So if you wanted to start collecting those and do it with money, that would be expensive. But if I just make sure I grab, the medals every day, which, all I have to do is do the basics so that I can, see, if you see it here, it's like the last 2 steps have the medals. So if I just do the basics to get the points, clear the points every day, then I'll get the medals every day. And then I'll be able to get to the point where, let's see, 4 more. So 2 more days. Well, yeah. 1 more day and we clear these 2, and then another day we'll clear these 2, and then the last couple days we'll clear the rest of them. There's 7 steps in total and 2 medals each day. So if I just clear the basic points every day, I'll at least be able to get those little island scrolls, and I think that's worth it. So I'll do the bare minimum needed to get points for this. And what I did today was, even though I don't really need it, I just did Lucky Wheel because it is a source of gem spending. And while yesterday was gem spending day, this was the only thing I can get points on today without really affecting things that I really wanted to be saving. So, the gem spending does also give you some of those festive packs with the ingredients. So I thought that was all right. and defeat nearby beasts. I'll try to finish this out just so I can get the token, and that's kind of where we are there. So those are the events. Now, yeah, all right. So before getting into events, let's take a look at VIP and let's talk about VIP again. I know a couple people had mentioned, because I'm done with the spending for today, so this wasn't a lot of heavy spending day, but this is the thing. I'm trying to play as an efficient whale. So look, I'm already almost at 2.1 million out of 2.4 million. So this VIP is going to come. And I know some people expressed a little bit of like disappointment that I didn't use gems for VIP on gem day. But here's the thing. So many whales. If you guys aren't whales who are playing this, so many whales reached out to me in the game and in comments before saying like, please don't spend gems on VIP because I did it and I regretted it ever since. Like everybody who's a whale who's done that has contacted me and told me, please don't do it. You're going to regret it because you'll get more stats for the spend off of gems for common wild marks than you will from VIP. You're going to get the VIP anyways. Why are you going to waste it that way? And I think, you know, that's some sage advice from people who've been through it before, so I'm not going to ignore that advice. So that's the whole reason why I'm waiting on the VIP. And not really waiting on it, just organic spend will get me there. It's just a matter of, you know, time, basically. So that's where we are in VIP. Now, let's talk about one more thing. When it comes to events, a couple of you have been asking like, hey, can you do Bear Trap again? And how come you didn't stream Foundry or something like this? Here's the thing. We do have another SVS Castle battle coming up. We're in a state of the account, and I'm just documenting my journey, right? Not just the spend, but my growth as a player, and to some degree, just the game and the progression of the game. So here's where we are in the game right now. We've got some cool, unique events going on right now in the game, and I'm showing you those. But as far as the standard events like, Crazy Joe and Bear Trap and all that, here, let me give you the problems with each one of them. And this isn't like, a problem with the game. They're still fun to play, but they're just logistical problems with, playing with an international team, let's say. First of all, Bear Trap. Like Bear Trap today, I think we had maybe like 5 callers or 6 callers in this huge alliance we have. It just was a bad day for Bear Trap. I don't know if it's because of the daylight savings time change in the US or what the deal is, but we had a pretty lackluster bear day today. I still managed to pull some good damage, but it was kind of difficult. We did have a couple good callers, but not our whole crew that normally is there. I don't feel like that's exciting content to do. So until I can verify that we're going to have a day where a bunch of people are joining us in Bear, I'm not going to do another Bear Live until I can get one of those days where I can confirm people are going to be online and it'll be kind of a more exciting Bear event, And so that's Bear Trap. Foundry, honestly, I just had a work schedule and I'm kind of, I don't know if it's the pollen or if I'm just having trouble getting over a cold, but I've been kind of generally sick lately. And I'm glad I didn't actually record it and send it. So I didn't record it because I've been busy with work and I wasn't feeling that great. And I'm glad I didn't because it was like, I think there were 24 of us to 14 of them or something like that. We vastly overpowered them. They didn't have their whales on. The whales they did have online, I was easily able to take over. So basically the beginning of the game, I just came through and like zeroed out most, basically, took all their players off the map. Not all, but, all their bigger players off the map for the most part, the ones who didn't teleport away quickly, stuff like that. And then I just chased a few of them down. When center opened up, I sat in center, sent some marches out to prototype sites and the mercenary sites, they're the merc sites, whatever those are. And then I just let everybody else have fun chasing out the few people who are on the map. It really wasn't, that exciting a Foundry, and it wasn't that challenging a Foundry because I felt bad for the other team. They just didn't have everyone show up and they didn't have their whales online. So that's just the nature of the game, right? Like it wasn't all that exciting an event. And then you look at the state versus state that we have coming up. From what I understand, and I know everybody tells me different things on what their state does or what their experience in the game is, but here's the way I understand it from most experienced players who've been playing a while in more advanced states. When the internal battle comes up, you just kind of hand it over peacefully, because if we sit there, we used to have a lot of fun, trying to gang up on points and stuff like this, like whoever's turn it was to take center and just throw attacks at them and try to get points on the board. But here's the thing. All those points and all that healing, it takes resources. And we're going to need the resources for the next state versus state battle or for, construction during SVS prep and all these other things. So as I understand it, most more advanced states, when it comes time for the internal castle battle, they just agree who's going to take it next, and they just kind of peacefully hand it over. No resources lost, just here you go. And also, it's a ridiculous time for some people. It's a ridiculous time to try to make the castle battle. So basically, for the internal castle battle, we should just kind of like decide who's getting it next, hand it over. We all get some rest. We don't have to waste any resources. Who cares about the few points on the board? It's not like really worth it, especially when you're spending like millions. Like I think I had to spend hundreds of millions of resources on healing last time. So, you know, the internal castle battle isn't going to be all that exciting either. The real excitement comes with state versus state and the prep that goes with it. So I think that's where we're at. This is not like, I guess this is called an end game for most games. Like this is the type of games you play when your account gets more advanced. So so that's where we're at. And also, while I'm griping about some of the games, the Frostfire Mine, like I had trouble with that this cycle because it's just hard. The times are very static and they were hard for me to meet. Like one of them was, especially due to the daylight savings time, one of them was like 1 a.m. for me, which I couldn't make because I had some late night work I was doing. The other was during my work day. And another one was when, you know, it's a normal time that we're eating dinner. So it's like, I was not able to participate in Frostfire Mine at all on the low spend or the high spend account this time. So unfortunately, that doesn't create a situation for me that's great for content, but we'll get there. We'll get there with some of the other events and some of the spending plans. So that's what I'm doing is, again, like documenting the journey, showing you the spending, showing you what's going on with my game. Maybe your game's different than mine. Maybe things are a little different for your state or for your alliance. It's going to be a unique experience for everybody. But basically, this is how things are going for me so far. So I'm just trying to document my journey as best I can, explain what I'm doing and why, and then, you know, that way you can follow the growth and follow how things are going and see how it plays out. So that's all I have for tonight, but make sure if you want to follow my journey and see how the spending goes, see how the account growth goes, and see how I evolve as a player, make sure you give me a like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you turn on notifications so that when I finally do go live again one of these days soon, you'll get a notice about it as soon as it happens. Thank you very much for joining, and until next time, I'll see you later.